Hi, I'm Mark Soja. I'm a repair tech at eReplacementParts.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use a soldering gun. Soldering guns are a valuable tool whenever you need to solder wires together. Soldering guns will usually be used for larger projects, such as heavy gauge wire. Most soldering guns will have a couple of different heat ranges. On most guns, you'll pull the trigger just partially to get the high heat range, and all the way in to get the lower heat range. Whenever you use a soldering gun, the first thing you want to do is tin the tip. And basically what that means is put a little bit of solder on there and clean up the tip before you begin actually soldering joints. So I'll put some solder on, and then I have a wet rag or cloth that I'll wipe that solder back off with. And now the gun's ready to use. When you solder a joint, the important thing to remember is you want to heat the metal that you're soldering, not just heat the solder. Also, probably the most important thing you can do to get a good soldered joint is to use flux. The flux will clean the oxidation off the metal and ensure you get a good joint. So I'll apply some flux to the wires, then I'll add heat from the soldering gun, and I'll wait for that flux to melt. And then I'll go ahead and apply the solder from the opposite side and let it wick into the joint, like that. The soldering gun can be used for a variety of different joints. But again, you'll find a gun will typically work best whenever you're dealing with heavy gauge wire. In this case, I have a heavy gauge wire, and I'm soldering a much smaller gauge wire to it. Almost forgot my flux. In this situation, I again want to heat that heavy gauge wire, and then I'll apply the solder to the smaller gauge wire and let it flow in. Like that. And now you know how to use a soldering gun.